So anything's possible. All right, let's begin. There's a particular quality or characteristic that's very strong in the style and the lineage with which I'm acquainted. And sometimes that word goes by fierce, or sometimes it's like very clear anger or clarity. But one of the attributes here is clarity and directness. Okay. It's one of the gifts of anger is there is a clarity and a cut-throughness. And this is not anger in the hostile or destructive sense. I mean, anger in its elevated, cleanest expressional form is clarity, cutting through, directness. And I invite us to lean into that. And when we take our seat directly, go right to taking seat. When we connect to breath, cleanly move directly to feeling, sensing breath. As my teacher would say, quit your housekeeping, right? so all the little doodads and knickknacks and lippy flappies and rustlings about, so it's just like right through. Take seat. And the beautiful thing about this, sometimes the misrepresentation of it, is that it can be brusque. It's just very clean, it's kind, it's compassionate, it's clear. Rest your hands on your legs. Align your head over your sit bones. Moving directly, simply into feeling the ribs expand. As the sit bones reach gently down, feel the crown of head lifting up. Now, in part of this exploration of clarity, which is at once removing the noise, clarifying our intention, we'll also be working what is, I suppose you can say tantrically, is a visional or imaginal practice of lighting up. So we're actually going to explore and practice feeling our body as luminescent. So we vision it so that we can feel it. To be clear, this is a body practice, a feminine and embodied practice. So we want to net feel this in and through our body. But it just so happens that visioning can help us retrieve this feeling through our body. The image that works well for me is a filament, like an incandescent, like a light bulb filament. So as you're breathing in and through your core, this filament start to feel that luminesce. If you start fires or go camping or do outdoor kinds of fire-based cooking, you know how to breathe onto embers and they get really bright. They glow. So we make that glowing with the quality of breath through the nostril. Smoothly, evenly in. Smoothly, evenly out. So let's prepare our breath. 10 count inhale, 10 count exhale. When you're ready, we'll do several rounds. 10 count in, 10 count out. This is Ujjayi breath, so we can feel, we can hear the breath, its smoothness, its evenness. And with these first opening rounds of breath work, can you feel the velocity unchanging? The very even quality of breath. Inhale matching exhale. Exhale sound matches the inhale sound. And sometimes when I'm attempting to vision something very clearly, I'll close eyes, and that helps me situate or vision, see with my mind's eye, inside my body. And I can see inside my body, feel, see this inner filament, this core getting luminescent. Find out in the next 5 or so rounds how bright, how luminescent can you experience your interiors to be? And we all know from the experience of fire, when we put something in the fire like our food or an intention or paper, it is forever changed. So as a ceremonial fire that we are conducting in our body, you might just get a sense of, is there anything I would be willing to place in this fire to light it up with the possibility of it being forever changed? Is there something I'm willing to get so clear about that it may forever alter how I view it? And place both hands, one over the other, right over your heart. 3 final breaths. Just find out and feel what this additional touch, this additional palpable sense of heart allows you to feel. Clarity can always be enacted with heart. Anger, clarifying anger, can always be expressed in and through the heart. It may take some practice or some re-understanding of what anger is and does. But when we go deeply enough, this clarifying expression comes through the body because we care. We care so much. We want to strip away any of the noise, any of the detractors from what is so important. All right. Place right ankle over left knee and shoelace. Actively flex the feet. So I'm pulling my littlest toes back toward my shin. So my foot and shin make a kind of an L shape. There it is. Good. I feel that left sit bone plugging down into the earth. Place your right hand on the ground. Inhale. Reach the left palm away from your left sit bone. Exhaling, wrapping that shoulder. Spread open your hand. Reach into side bend. You're reaching to your right. And pressing out through the heel bone. And throughout our practice today, I'll offer just little reminders and occasionally just little technique helpers so that we can ongoingly feel this luminescence occurring in our body. So breath is really helpful. The quality of our breath. Hearing our breath evenly, inhale through exhale. And seeing in our mind's eye how as we sense into the left hip, as we breathe into the left hip, we can attune to the brilliance of that left hip. Okay. Inhaling, take this left hand down to the ground, hooking your left arm over your thigh. Left arm, right thigh. Drawing the shoulders away from the neck. Inhale, move the chest forward. with this light of breath, this light of awareness, is it possible to get clear enough to see, to feel right down to the cellular level? Sometimes our beliefs or our thoughts about things muddy those waters. Oh, that's not possible. I don't know if I can do that. Oh, I've never done that before. But with clarity, maybe we can give ourselves a breath opportunity to cut right through those beliefs, those ideas, and to have a direct experience. Something's lighting up in there. I feel something. Inhale, walk your trunk back upright. Unwind the legs. You may need to unwind them slowly. Okay. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit stiffer, I've been in a pose a while like this, I'll just start to contract some of the muscles around my knees. And I'll kind of pull my heels back and push them out, just so I'm moving the structures around my knee without moving the knee too dynamically. All right. We'll switch sides. Left ankle, atop right knee. Switch those legs around. There we go. Great. Left hand beside us on the ground. Inhale, stretch the right palm away from the right sit bone. Exhale, side bend to your left. There it is. Now we connect to breath. Meaning we remember our breath, we feel our breath, we hear our breath as moving through our body, as being expressed through our body. And if we want to be so focused, so experimental, we can feel that breath occurring anywhere in our body. Perhaps the right side hip, back. So it's a little bit of a switch from moving the low back to breathing, to sensing the breath in the right side of back. And if you need to close eyes to come back inside your body, to feel what's behind this skin of ours, now twisting toward the thigh, inhale, bring that right hand down, or bringing the right arm to contact the left thigh. Exhaling, press gently out through the heels. So the feet stay flexed, the knee stays protected. Now let's be really discerning. It's not uncommon in our culture that when we're visioning something, that vision might be occurring on the floor, on the wall, out the window. And for this practice, because it's an in-body practice, vision inside your body. So you feel your breath inside your waist, inside your ribs, inside your pelvis. And if you need to close your eyes to enhance that sense of, oh, I see that, feel that inside my body, and by all means, close eyes. Inhaling, help yourself, press yourself upright, unwind the legs. I know there's a lot of artist types among us, and it's very common when we're imagining like a procedure or kind of daydreaming, right? You'll notice we often kind of, that's nice. It's nice to kind of go out in the cloud and over there. It's so nice, that imagining. That's not it. But it's a point of clarity, of distinction. The imaginal is occurring in our cells. So while that nice kind of spacey somewhere out there, yeah, so nice up there on the wall, I have to kind of wrangle so that imagining, that visional capacity is occurring through my cells. And it'll feel different. You'll feel the difference. All right, let's lie on our back so we can engage these legs. Get some blood moving around those knees. We'll bring the feet off the ground, knees over the hips. And there's nothing wrong with that spacey imagination. It's very pleasant. It's a really kind of pleasant way of disengaging, from something, and then kind of refreshing like a palate cleanser, and then we can re-engage. However, I find that there can be a lot of dissociation that's connected into that spacing out. So it's not a bad behavior, but I just want to point at it and go, if there's a little habit that we've created with that spacing out, it might be cool to notice that habit. Inhale, float the head and the shoulders off the ground. And pausing, keeping that sacrum on the ground, curl the tailbone, which brings that top rim of sacrum to the ground. Exhale, the left leg out, strongly enacting the quadriceps, the contractions of the muscles, spreading the foot bones, and pulling the low belly way down. I'm reaching and feeling through the ball of the left foot. Inhale, bend left knee softly. Curl tailbone. Exhale, reach out through the ball of the right foot. Engaging all those quadriceps. Pull low belly down. Now when you inhale, softly bend that right knee. And try this out, Brett. Just move the top rim of the sacrum to the ground. So curl the tailbone so that you feel the top rim of the sacrum go to the ground. It's a smaller move, I suspect, than you're used to. Exhale, reach out through the left leg. It's a deep, low set of abdominals that curling the tailbone gets that top rim of sacrum to move to earth. Pull low belly down. Inhale, softly bend that left knee. Curl tailbone. Exhale, right leg out, reach. Now I'm still shifting. I'm still feeling the abdominal. Keeping that top rim of sacrum on the ground. And now pull the low belly down. Inhale, softly bend that right knee. Let's do 5 more in a row, and that's 5 more on each side. So I realize that may get some warmth going. To bring in or bring up that warmth through the body, I recommend focusing internally. Keep the shoulder blades up, so the muscles of the abdomen will have to work. That's part of heat. When muscles work, there's a lot of friction with that. There's a lot of work. There's heat in working the muscles. So we're contracting all of these quadriceps. We're working, engaging those abdominals to keep the shoulder blades up. Lift. There, keep that. And as all civil engineers come to know, that structures and systems can be made to dissipate heat or intensity, right? Some of the things we do as humans to dissipate, to bring down the temperature, so to speak, is leaving our body. It helps a thing be less intense. I'm going to suggest that rather than dissipating energy out our body, this practice does very well to help us gather, to magnify, actually slightly intensifying. We may feel that as heat, building the heat inside of our body. Sometimes what we can know under magnification is so much greater than what we can know with our ordinary way of viewing our world. Good, now Brett, feel that the tailbone move. Oh, hang in there for one more breath. Feel that the tailbone move, it's like maybe 3 millimeters, not more than a half centimeter of movement, moves the top rim of the sacrum down. It might be even smaller than that. There you go. And there's often quite a focused amount of abdominal utilization. I find it happens right below the navel, right above the pubic bone. It's very focused amount. There you go. Pull a little belly down. There you go. Nice. Welcome home. Yeah. Often we'll focus on a fine little movement, and it actually helps bring us inside our body more fully. All right, grab your roll when you're through. It appears most of us are. And the roll is for between the legs. And when you reach the legs up, imagine you're leaving a footprint on the ceiling. If you're under a ceiling, imagine a footprint, and put a little little bit more of the ball mount of the foot into that footprint. Not too much. So I may have to lift my inner ankle toward the sky. Inhale into the low back. The top rim of sacrum spreads into the ground. Hold that squeeze. Now reach out and lengthen all of that musculature. That's just stretch. Engage and reach. Exhale, head and shoulder blades off the ground. Now we'll increase the squeeze, curling the tailbone a second time, which might be about 1 millimeter. Pull those low belly muscles down. Inhale, place the head down. This is our moment to have that little dissipation, that little easing up, easing off. That's it. Squeeze the roll. So the muscles engage. And I stretch, I lengthen the legs that are engaged. Curl tailbone, exhale, head, shoulders off the ground. Increase the squeeze. And then the tailbone shifts up, the top rim of the sacrum slips closer to the ground. Pull low belly down. Keep the legs on. Inhale, letting up on that squeeze. This is our tiny little moment where you can offload. Right? It's kind of a rhythm to this. Squeeze the roll. Let the muscles engage. So I don't care about the roll. I care about your leg muscles, those adductors, those really, really deep muscles that attach to the thigh bone. Curl tailbone. Exhale. The head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Now, as you squeeze that roll, again, feel to the bone of your legs. Feel those muscles working and attached right to the thigh bone. Pull low belly down. Inhale, place the head down, let the legs relax so blood does and can flow. Hold that breath, squeeze the roll, curl tailbone, exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades up. Now, increase the squeeze, feeling more deeply, closer to the bone, muscles attached to bone, inner thigh, go all the way to the bone, 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 pull low belly down. Good, good. Inhale, set the head down. Now, without losing a beat, continue. We don't have to even count, just continue. Now, all around our bones, there's this little fibrous, kind of connective tissue substance, kind of fuzzy. As you squeeze those muscles on in your inner leg, hard to feel that squeeze and that contraction, almost like tickling that fuzzy little layer around all the bone. All the way to the bone. Bones are part of our hormonal system, our endocrine system. When our muscles work, when they activate such and they're tugging and moving and pressing and squeezing and torquing the tissues around the bone starts to go, oh, signal, communication for my sweet friend's muscles. There you go. Mm-hmm. Do the last 3 and then we'll rest. Good. Good. Yeah, inner ankle. Good. Yep, get that part to light up. And just feel how you're getting the legs to light up here. You're actually using this particular engagement, all this inner leg line, there you go, all the way up. To light up the abdomen, the pelvis, the calves, all the way to the feet. Remember, this is about luminescing the body, lighting it up, not fatiguing it, not draining it. You just happen to be using a really active set of practices. like turning on these muscles, getting these muscles to talk to the bone and through the bone, down to the DNA. We just have some really active ways of playing with it. It's fun to get blood moving. There you go, there you go, there you go. There it is. Yeah, those knees. Good, go right through those knees. That's it. All those ligaments attach into those knees. This ability to squeeze and contract precisely and down to the bone has been an extraordinarily important part for me in the healing process of neurological healing, like actually developing a quality of nerve force, if you will, and also healing ligaments, tendons, right? So it's really vitalizing to be able to work these contractions, to use a term, down to the bone. Okay, good. Let the roll go. Let's turn on to a side. You know we're going to do some dolphins, so might as well do it now. Come on to elbows and knees. And so as strongly as you were working those legs just mere moments ago, I'm going to call on that. We're going to call on that in just a moment. Now, once you've set up your hands and your forearms, pause, lift the palms up. So you kind of stretch your wrists out closer to the ground and then re-palm the floor. So you have that increased contact of arms, wrists, and hands on ground. Inhale, pressing the earth. Exhale, the knees off the ground. Now, whether the heels are on or off the ground, doesn't matter. We'll start to engage those legs, those quadriceps. Pressing through those inner legs, sending those heels toward the earth, whether they touch or not is fine. Yeah. Now this clarifying breath, this luminescing breath, as we're willing to explore and feel our experience, it's a lot like pitching that noise into the fire. The experience becomes clearer, less muddied. Our body can perceive with fewer filters or muddiness. Push through the forearms, staying light through the shoulders. Actively engage those quads. I'm not stiffening, but I'm engaging them and I'm lengthening them. There you go. That's it. That's it, Joy. That's it. Now here's a clarity moment for us. Like, oh my gosh, my body is starting to rattle with all of this heat and sensation and experience. Connect to breath. And as you connect to breath, we can note, oh, that heat, that rattling, that feeling, that experience, those pressures, those stretches. Now, settling some weight into that left foot. Inhale, smoothly raise the right foot off the ground. Exhale, reach back to that right leg. Strong outreach. Now breathing on your core, breathing through your core, lighting it up, getting it, rediscovering that luminescence. Inhale, smoothly set that right foot down. Stay in dolphin. We don't want to drop down and dissipate, right? Letting it build a little bit. Raise the left foot. Okay. Again, this isn't just about tolerance or like making us quote unquote tough. Oh, I stay in a pose and I get tougher. It's not that. It's more like a crucible. I can be ordinarily aware of only so much, and then I need a certain kind of environment to help amplify some of the things that I miss with my ordinary awareness. And every little pose and each yoga as ceremony is such a crucible. Oh, I am acutely aware of these different sensations, these other experiences I don't get when I'm just walking through the park daydreaming. As I breathe with it, I can get very clear. Oh, this is just a sensation. Give it just one or two more clarifying breaths. I'm going to reach out a little more. Use your inner right leg. Reach through your inner right leg. Use this part of your foot. Keep reaching. Press out. Press. Squeeze. 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 Squeeze in. Yeah. And inhale. Set that left foot down softly. Set the knees down softly. Well, cool. When you're ready to stand, use any amount of support that you like. We're working standing pigeon. So, start by grabbing the right foot. If your pigeon renders you kind of holding the leg like our shoelace, like we're sitting on the floor, that's possible. But gradually, we'll go from the toes pointing away from our navel to the toes pointing toward the sky. So that's kind of our range. And the more I point my toes up, I may have to let my foot go away from my body. And then I can always bring it closer in. Now let's get steady in the pose, kinetically steady. So whether you use the wall or prop or whatever, just get really steady. And it's okay to let the eyes be on some still object like a wall or a plank or a line. But connect to breath and hear a steadiness of that breath sound. Feel a quality of evenness. I'm not forcing the breath. I'm just finding that it's like that breath, when it's so even, it helps us envision, it helps us sense that breathing on embers, breathing on the cell walls, breathing in and through the cellular fields, the field of the body, brightening it, brilliantizing it. I make up words. This body is poetry. It deserves poetry. Good. Gently set that right foot down. All right. Flex the left foot. Standing pigeon. Other side. The gentlest way to get a hold of the left foot is let the toes point away from the navel. But then keep moving the toes toward the sky. So I'm not just kind of holding it. I'm moving toward pigeon. And often, Lauren, this is where I kind of do all those wonderful foot exercises. So sometimes I'll just forget about, or I'll steady the pigeon-held foot, and I'll work those foot exercises in my standing foot. So sometimes I'll just prop up that pigeon leg on whatever, and if I'm playing around with short foot exercises, I'll just do that on the right foot, and if I'm working those toe or extensor exercises, whichever. And I don't know if you're doing wedges or props with foot exercises, but it can be kind of a kick to just slightly incline or prop the ground foot. That's always a blast. And gently set that left foot down. Okay. All right. We'll come back to our mat. Have some blocks, blocks near the front of the mat. We'll get to those in a bit. Feel your breath spreading between the top rim of the sacrum and the lower abdominal skin or muscle. This is what we were doing in our abdominals. We were breathing right in between the skin above the sacrum and the skin right above the pubic bone. This feeling fully the human body, the form, the dance, the play, the luminescence of this human experience is, traditionally a part of those feminine practices. It's kind of the beauty and the brilliance of this style, this practice. Like owning and having this wondrous expression of light and dance and play. Inhale, draw the arms up. Telescope the ribs up. Feel them lift away from the ribs. And if you feel comfortable, you can reach or lean back a little bit. Exhale, fold forward. If you're working with your shin and ankle and knee structures, you can engage the legs and the muscles very strongly in this practice. That will be wonderful and fine. Lunge, inhale, step the left foot back, heel up, knee up, which leaves our hands to help us if we need support on ground, on thigh, or sometimes people will use the back of a hand to just help and suggest their tailbone shift down. Arms reach up. And listening and feeling that breath. With each breath, as we choose, sensing through the core, sensing through the body, sensing for that luminosity. How do I use this pose? How do I go through the fieriness of these poses to get to the clarity and the brilliance? Right? So to say it in a kind of a poetic or metaphoric way is getting through the heat to get to the light. Being gradually more okay with the heat to experience the luminescence. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. Inhale, place the hands down, and as well, the left knee. Let's pad the left knee. It's a little extra. Heel to butt lunge. Let that breath, or pardon me, that luminescence, let that spread all the way through the neck, throat, and under the skull. Something I notice in a lot is this tendency to collapse and dampen a lot of the wondrousness of this upper neck, lower brain area. And sometimes it's as simple as shifting the head, softening some of the neck structures, or lifting the crown of head up. Letting that luminescence track and get breathed all up through that thyroid area, vocal cord structure, the back of the brain. When you feel that, you actually the face can get really soft. Very kind of soft, placid face. Gently set that left foot down. Twisting lunge. Inhale, back the hips over the left knee. Push it back. Raise the left. Exhale the left elbow or left arm over the right thigh. Listen to your breath. Remember our breath. And sliding down, bringing that armpit closer to the leg for twisting lunge interlock. Release. Inhale, unwind, setting hands down under shoulders. Exhale, step right foot back and lower. Now reaching the heels back, so the backs of my legs and my butt are kind of drawing, literally pulling the hips away from the ground as I lower. Cobra, reach back to the big toes, the inner legs. That's why we did all that roll work. Inhale into that low belly. Under the heart. Up to the heart, pulling the chest forward. Exhaling, lower down, downward dog. Now thus far, let's remain in downward dog just for a feeling moment, because we just did a couple of lunges on one leg. And with your breath, you may start to feel what that's like in your back. I just did a couple lunges on one side. Just note what your two legs feel like, how the heels, feet contact the ground, how it feels in the left hip socket, the right hip socket, feeling both sides of your back and your abdomen. Maybe the feeling, the granularity, the fidelity has improved or clarified. Does one area of your body have a clearer sense of feeling? Isn't that interesting? Lunge. Inhale the left foot forward. So the right knee and the right heel are up. Nice step. Good. Hands can be on ground, hands can be on leg, hands can reach overhead. When you're working with back or sacral issues, as I start to move more and more upright through my trunk, sometimes I'll just place a hand on my sacrum. I can actually feel how my legs are directing that, part of that. It just helps me get a sense of, oh, this is how I might use my legs to support my back. Kind of a cool thing. And then breathing in and through your core, brightening up that core. If it feels like we're fabricating it, that's okay. But we're using that muscle of vision to help us open up that muscle of accessing it in our body. Sometimes I tell my musician friends, count if you gotta count. If you gotta count 1, 2, 3, 4 to stay on beat, then count 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay on beat. If you've got a vision how that brilliance is occurring, then vision it. At some point, it becomes a bodily, a felt reality. Okay, now inhaling, let's set that right knee down for lunge. Padding, please. Heel to butt lunge. So that means my right hand grabs my right ankle. Keep breathing on those embers. Keep breathing through that core, that filament. Would you be willing to pitch those little mentalizing distractions into that fire, that we may come back directly to this direct experience of feeling our body? Gently set that right foot down, twisting lunge. So we need to back the hips up. Inhale, the right arm up. Lifting, I'm lifting up through the gut, lifting the ribs up. Exhale, turning, hook, right arm over left thigh. I'm always amused by the number, the variety of events that seem to want to tap dance in front of such an intention as feeling what's brilliant, feeling that spark of lightness in our own bodies. We may perseverate on a pain issue or kind of hold our breath, kind of do a little strategizing, but in a very clear, direct way, come right back to the breath. It's compassionate, it's back to task in a very gentle but direct way, back to breath. Moving in for interlock. As you exhale, slide right armpit even nearer to thigh. Back to breath. Yeah. One of the gifts of such directness is that we really do find out how much noise we've allowed to take up our resources. There's a really great gift in such fierce directness. And I mean fierce in the warmest, kindest, most compassionate way, like back to breath. Like, oh, I really had a lot of avoidance strategies. How interesting. Releasing, inhale, we'll unwind, hands to ground. Whoa, exhale, step back, lower, plank to ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. Engage the triceps. The triceps, that helps those elbows fully straighten. Reach out. So the arms are engaged and then lengthen. So press. As if you're lengthening all those muscular fibers. Now engage the legs, the quadriceps, so you're straightening the knees, whether the heels touch the ground or not. And lengthen those fibers. Good. Now listen to your breath. That a funny little thing, right? Being thoroughly engaged and utterly clear. It's easier for me to say that. There you go. There you go. Warrior one. Inhale, right foot between hands. Lance Dodger. We'll select our right hand. Let me show you. Often when we do this, we go the whole forearm across the width of the pelvis. That's one way. But you may have select or kind of specialized knowing of your sacrum, and you might be able to use the back of your hand centrally. Okay. Kind of like the forearm today as I'm feeling around. Left arm reach up, and if you have some neck concerns, you can always bring that hand in to support the base of the skull. Inhale between your hands, between your arms. Exhale, press down through that right arm. Reach up through that left shoulder, all the way to the hand. What would you be willing to get really clear with right here? As you connect to your breath, hear that breath. Now, if you're comfortable in this Lance Dodger to enact a little more uplift and reaching back, you can make this a little micro back bend. And releasing, come upright. Here we'll use that block. I'm going to exchange. I'm going to put my left hand kind of where my right hand was. Okay, just give them a break. Half moon. Set the right hand down. Block can be nice. Inhale the left heel to hip height. Now as I exhale, stretching that left leg straight back away from the skull. I'm letting my left arm, or the back of my left hand, just become a part of this little sacral nudge. I can breathe right in front of that left arm or that left wrist. So get the feet really, the right foot really active. Kind of wriggle those. There's going to be a lot of these butt muscles. Kind of shift this tail. There you go. And that little butt move, you feel how that starts to open up that. So you do that with your muscles. There you go. Now breathe right where your hand and my hand is. Okay, that was exhale. Now breathe, inhale into there. And I'll feel that breath move out as exhale from there. Feel your inhale in there. There you go. Soften the neck and the eyes. There, oh, feel what happened. Relax the eyes, creases around the eyes. Relax the eyes, unwince the eyes. There you go. Keep going. Use those butt muscles. Yeah, use both legs real strongly to get in there. Yeah, so it's a great deal of emphasis right in there. Yeah, to help you connect to the sacrum, the left side sacrum, focus all the way through the left heel and the left ankle bones. The talus. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now that whole leg's turning on. You feel how that whole leg. There you go. Awesome. Awesome. Sweet. Inhaling, set that left foot down so softly, so softly. We're moving into pigeon, so go ahead and have some cushion under you. Place left knee down and then walk the right leg over and down. Now for this version of pigeon today, we'll do this in 2 steps. So 1, place your forearms down. 2, well, 1.5. Curl those back toes under. So when you stretch your legs straight back, that heel ends up behind your hip. Not to the side of the hip, but directly behind. And now step 2. Set the knee down on the top of that quad muscle. And grab that left ankle with your left hand. Flex that foot a little bit. Now I keep that right forearm on the ground. Pardon me. Would you be willing to get very, very clear in and through the pelvis? If so, connect to your breath. This is a wonderful moment where there can be feeling, such feeling magnified all around the pelvis and the spine. And even when the feelings are chronic or incessant, right? It's okay, love. It's okay, love. We don't have to swish them away. We don't have to push them out of view. It's okay, love. I see you very directly, very clearly. I feel you. And as that loving countenance is brought to bear and lights up the body, note what happens. Release. Inhale, walk hands under shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. Remain in downward dog so that you can engage all of those muscles around the knee and the quads, the triceps around the elbows. And start to stretch. So you're pressing out through your limbs. Press all the way out to your limbs, feeling to the fingertips, to the heels, to the sole of the foot. Deep breath. The analogy of water and steam and vapor and is apt in these energetic processes. Under the intensification, under the heat, the clarifying heat of these practices, there can be this expansion like water to steam. And so we press, we stretch our feeling awareness to the edges of our body, and we just find out, is there a little more expansion, deeply breathing into the sides of the ribs. Warrior one, inhale your left foot forward. There's a lance dodger here. Right. So we'll bring our left hand to the back of the sacrum or the whole forearm. If you're not sure which, just go with the whole forearm. Raise the right arm up. Wow. When you're comfortable, your legs are adequately supporting your back, you can start to lift and move this in the direction of a teeny tiny back bend. And so what I mean by that is the mid back and the upper back. Those are the areas that are prone to kind of getting a little clustered together. And as you breathe into that middle back, yeah, that's a good spot, Amy. Breathing into that middle back, that upper back. Clarity that we gain, we may feel as a more articulate set of bones and joints and ribs. Feel those slighter and slighter motions of breath starting to undulate through a once solid feeling mass. There you go. That's it. You can keep pressing down, but I'm going to slide the shoulder down with you. There you go. It slips up. Inhaling, come upright. All right, there is a half moon. So we're going to switch our hands, bringing the right hand to the back, right about so. Bringing the left hand down to the ground or block. Drawing the right heel up. I go with hip height. We don't need to go higher. To help yourself activate more of those supportive, deep spinal structures around the back and the sacrum, push down with your left hand. So you may have to prop the block up so that push actually generates a little, just like a little. There you go. You feel like you get a little bit lighter on the left foot, but you also feel a little. There's not a good word. I don't have a good word, but a little. There you go. Now you might be able to come away from the wall to straighten the right leg. So go heel toward the wall. There you go. To get that a really great sacral support, I also feel that there is weight in the heel and the midfoot. So in case you got very toe prominent or forefoot prominent, just feel for shifting the weight, and you'll get more activation through the back of the leg and the butt. Not exclusively, but just include those parts of the foot. There you go. There you go. I'm breathing right between the sacrum and the navel. There you go. Inhale, softly, softly set that right foot down. We're setting up for pigeon. So, when the foot is down, place the right knee down. Walk the left leg down to the ground. Then place forearms down. Because here we'll line the right leg first, and then we'll get ourselves into that. Yeah. So inhaling, curl the right toes under. Feel that your foot is directly behind your right butt cheek. Exhale the right heel back as if drawing that right leg straight back. You may even rock your weight back into that left, that pigeon. Actually slink in there more deeply. Now settle that right thigh down to the ground. Right hand, reach for right ankle. I'm pressing quite firmly with my left arm when my pigeon feels snug. Like I'm really pulling the ground and keeping my chest facing the ground, facing forward. I'm not spinning out to the right, right? I'm using that left arm and I'm kind of pulling my chest to face ground. Now just take notice, sometimes the pelvis and the hips or the back can contain a lot of information, overwhelming amounts of sensation. And sometimes that's become habitually connected to, let's space out here for a moment, as in let's just wait for this to pass. I'll be a fly on the wall until the next pose is called, right? If that is your pattern, we can explore that, and it's through directness. Connect to breath. It's okay, love. I feel you. I see you directly, unimpeded. There is no noise, no detractor that can cause me to leave you behind. No sensation, no experience. There you go. Soften the throat area. There you go. There you go. There you go. Good. Gently we release, setting that right foot down. Inhale, hands under shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. Now in downward dog, once again, spread open your hands, the heels of your palm. Get weight, distribute your weight. Not only through the wrist bones, but all the way to the roots of the digits. And then stretch every fingertip away from its knuckle root. Yeah, every finger, even that index knuckle root. There you go. Engage those triceps. So those muscles are working down to the bone. The bone, feel the bone. Those muscles connect to the bone, feel down to the bone. Stretch those engaged arms out, and now let's do the same with the legs. Feel those quadriceps engage. Now lengthen all those tissues. Spread the soles of the feet, all of those little foot bones, those long foot bones. Press, feel into every toe, knuckle, root. Feel all those ball mounds? And then reach every toe tip away from those knuckle roots. Even that little toe, even those middle toes that get kind of blurred together, they count. Even if you've broken that little toe 3 times, you can still reach out through it and feel it. And then gently set the knees down. Whew, when you sit, look how close we are to Shavasana. Lie back. And now we allow ourselves to move out of Ujjayi breath, the technique of such deliberate, soundful breathing. And we allow our breath to move as if it's kind of this residual breath flow after so much careful guidance and technique. We're just letting but note that breath still contains, it still carries the light of our awareness. Again, sometimes we use techniques to amplify this fact. Sometimes we use poses to amplify. We use crucibles and ceremony to amplify, to enhance. So that we can see it for ourselves. We can feel it with our own fingertips. We can taste it. We can know it. transformation, the deep and lasting changes that keep moving us toward a more compassionate, loving embrace, and a clear, unadulterated dance of light and form. Can happen through the body. They do happen through the body. They must happen through the body. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to side. Use hands and press. I love y'all. Namaste.